Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am your host, Data T, and this is my channel, The Good Guys. Guys, today's story comes out of Sammamish, Washington State, and the title reads, Sammamish home invasion that injured resident was random, prosecutors say. Guys, before we get into this story, if you guys wouldn't mind leaving a like, a comment, subscribe. We are trying to get to 100 subscribers. I believe if I can affect 100 people on a regular basis, it would be a cool thing, and I will take it as a responsibility. Okay, as we get to 100 and to 1,000 and beyond, I know it's a slow moving process, but it is growing, guys. The channel is moving in an upward direction, and I thank all of you for that. I'm going to start saying this in the beginning of all of my videos, so bear with me. But if we can get to 100 subscribers, maybe in the week of this week of the 13th through the 17th of March, I would really be happy. I would appreciate it, and I definitely am going to do something special for 100 subscribers. Okay. Anyway, let us get into this story.
Prosecutors now say it's one of the scariest random crimes they've seen in some time.
It takes away the sense of security.
4 suspects terrorized a Sammamish family in a violent home invasion. Tonight, what we're learning about the suspects, including one with a decades-long rap sheet.
I don't feel as safe as I used to feel before. So I think people need to pay attention to that.
Como News at 5 starts now.
One of the people inside that home was shot several times, but not before he was also able to shoot one of the suspects.
It happened shortly after midnight on February 13th at a home along Northeast 2nd Avenue, not very far from Eastlake High School.
Como's Ryan Sims has been on this story since it first happened last week. And Ryan, only one of the suspects has been arrested so far.
Yeah, that's right. 1 suspect down, 3 more to go, with prosecutors saying that each one of those criminals selected a random house along this otherwise quiet neighborhood and carried out a savage and sudden attack. Just after midnight on February 13th, according to these newly released court papers, a couple and their adult son were inside this home when one of them reported hearing a rattling noise at the front door. The homeowner told deputies the door then barged open and several people he did not know started shooting at him. Deputies say the man's adult son then returned gunfire, hitting one of the suspects several times. A week later, Como News learned that prosecutors believe this case is random, something that stunned neighbors like Renata Corey.
I think it makes it worse because it takes away the sense of security.
Prosecutors say Ricky Haynes is the suspect who was shot. They tell us he showed up at the hospital with a gunshot wound and was eventually tied to this home invasion.
So guys, take a look at this. So you are on your way home with your family, and your son or even yourself hears a rattling noise, and you got these 4 jokers who just come in your house, guns blazing. What do you do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You had the son there. Return fire. If you go and read this story, and I encourage a lot of you to do that, what you will see is that they said that the father was screaming. What he was screaming for, maybe just to alert everybody, but it was the son. And I'm not going to blame the father here. That I won't do that. I do believe he should have had his firearm on him, and he should be, I would say returning fire as well. But then maybe if he had did that, he could have hit his son, hit his wife. Maybe his son was in the opportune way to shoot. So we can't blame him. All right. And I don't mean to blame the father. Okay. But the son was able to return fire. Now, not only did he shoot, but he got shot as well. And it's unfortunate to see something like this when the family especially the family. It hits the family all at once. But what do we do in this situation? Should we be armed at all times? Hopefully the son, it looks like the son, maybe he'd been carrying, okay, because it looks like it happened right after. So do you keep a weapon on you all the time? People look at you crazy. Why would you do that? Because of this, okay? Then people may ask you the question, you keep a gun on every floor of your house? Yes, I do. Why would you do that? Because of this, okay? Then they might even look at you and say, hey, sir, so is there a reason why you got so many guns? Yeah, because of this. And so when you have all of these examples, okay, of people trying to take what is not yours, these assholes, they started to. Can you imagine this? You as a criminal, sometimes I try to place myself in the shoes of criminals. If it was me and I'm going to rob a house, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, you know what? Let's make sure the person's not home. I may even conduct surveillance on the house before I decide to rob it. Okay? And I'm gonna know who's in that house. I'm not gonna do anything at random. Okay? This is how stupid criminals are. And they decided to pick a house randomly and to rob it. Fuck those jokers. Who cares what happens to them? Honestly, yes, that guy got shot, and I hope the rest of them, they find themselves in jail and they rot. But what we are seeing, folks, is that individuals like this who will rob, who's got a mile-long rap sheet, okay, they say that expands into decades, he will still be let out on the street to cause harm. At this point, guys, I have to say, this is the conspiracy tone that I may have here, but at this point, I honestly believe some of this crime is maybe by design. You can't tell me in the justice system that you have a guy who's got 9 felonies or somebody who does repeated crime one after the other, and guess what? You let him out? Look at New York. The same thing. This thing with the no cash bond, whatever you want to call it, it has destroyed New York even more so. Look at what happened in Chicago. The same thing. How do repeat criminals get out and cause mayhem over and over and over? But this man, I'll tell you, the son is a good guy. Let's hear what the rest of this got to say. I may stop it again, but let's hear what the rest of this video has to say.
I don't feel as safe as I used to feel before. So I think people need to pay attention to that.
Como News learned Haynes has been accused of 9 prior felony offenses. His bail currently $2 million. What is the message that you have for people who hear of this guy's criminal history and the fact that he was even out in the first place?
When those cases come to us, we're going to take action just like we did here. Immediately file the case and go before a judge and say, this person needs to be held on $2 million bail.
The adult son.
That is bullshit. That is bullshit. Somebody should have asked, I wish the follow-up question would have been from the reporter. Bossman, he had 9 felonies. What about when he got the first 2? Did you say to him, this guy's a danger to the public, and he needs to be kept in prison for as long as possible? Why let it get to 9? Did he commit all 9 at the same time? If we look at his rap sheet, we can actually probably be able to see it and see that this is a progression. So, on your road to progression, on your road to being a career criminal, somebody doesn't say, my friend, I'm sorry, but That's it for you. That's bullshit. That's bullshit what this guy just said. Complete bullshit.
Who shot Haynes was also shot several times himself. Como News tried to see how he was doing, but nobody answered the door. Given that this crime was random, Renata insists it is yet another sign that things aren't as safe as they used to be.
So I'm originally from Brazil, and I was like in shock because this is something that happens in Brazil. It doesn't happen here. So it was scary.
Now, other than the random nature of this crime, plenty of people also shocked that Haynes was allowed to be out on the street in the first place. We will have that aspect of this story coming up in an hour at 6 o'clock. We're coming to you live from Sammamish tonight. Ryan Sims, Como News.
Well, you guys heard that, and it's one thing that things like this happens. Random stuff does happen, guys. If you guys remember the knockout game, some of these teenagers, they'll pick random people and hit them up, or you'll just be on the side of the street that day. That guy sees you and he's okay. Let me go try to rob this guy. So random stuff does happen, but to a random home, why not? It's the same. It's absolutely the same. But the trick is, or the remedy is, to be ready. To be ready. You cannot. There's nothing else you can do. I mean, you can only do so much. Yes, you could put cameras in front of the house, lights. Yes, that could have picked up that person. But these guys were determined. They picked the house at random. So if they got in there random, you gotta be ready for random. And the son was, and he's a good guy, guys. He is a good guy. He is a good guy. And for him to return fire when all these jokers started to gun blazing in their house, you gotta have some freaking balls. And thank goodness to this man, this young man or older man who we don't know his age. I don't know if it even says in the article here how old this guy was. Okay, it doesn't say here. Okay, but kudos to him. All right, guys. I would say think about your house and how you're going to fortify it. Think about all the number of weapons where you stage them. Think about those in your family. What are you going to do in an emergency? And it's always something that I think about. Okay, and as we think about those things, people may ask you, why are you doing that? Why are you thinking about that? Because good guys think about that stuff. Good guys are also long-term planners. Okay? Evil is the ultimate long-term planner, in my opinion. Okay? But good guys can foil those attempts. Good guys will eventually win in the end. Okay? Being a good guy is not easy. We know that. And being a good guy means you have guns. It means you are proficient with guns. It means you know how to use guns. You may even have guns for other people to give out in times of crisis and in need. I think that's cool. Good guys will always be able to protect themselves and those who cannot. And that is what this man did. That is what the son, the good son, did. And he is a good guy. I've said it many times. So, guys, understand. If good men do nothing, there will be no good guys.